何
Hello guys, and welcome back to another episode of Pokemon with Ditto and me. So, you might have noticed that I didn't upload a video last week. That's because I was doing a bit of OU battling over the week to bring you this meta-analysis series. Yay! So, I'm going to cover the top threats in the Crown Tundra meta in OU, Ubers, and I'll probably do UU as well. So, feeling pretty well for the series. It's probably gonna do as well as, like, How to Play Pokemon Part 1. So, today we're going to be covering OU. So, without further ado, let's hop into the top threats of OU, and then my personal spice picks. The king of OU in this generation is undoubtedly Kyurem Black. Kyurem Black is a very, very good sweeper. It has a base attack stat of 170, which is astronomical. But it is hindered by the fact that it doesn't have a good Ice-type stat move. The only Ice-type stat move that has 100% accuracy is Icicle Spear, and it doesn't get Icicle Crash, unfortunately. It would have to depend on either the unreliable Icicle Spear, as said, or the 2-turn charging Freeze Shock. So now let's go over the common sets. People usually run Life Orb with Dragon Dance, Icicle Spear, Fusion Bolt, and Dragon Claw. And for me, I usually run a Spice set with Power Herb Freeze Shock, which is definitely going to shock some Blisseys. So after covering the king of OU, let's cover the queen. Of course. What is OU without Landorus Therian? Landorus Therian, we all know, is very, very bulky, and very powerful as well. And obviously has the ability to intimidate, and usually people run leftovers with the moves Earthquake, Knockoff, Stealth Rock, and U-Turn as shown. This particular set is a fast physical sweeper set, but maybe people can use some bulkier sets, for example, max HP, max defense, or maybe max speed or max HP. Landorus Therian will usually pivot around with U-turn, and also causing sweepers to lose their attack due to Intimidate. So let's move on to the next Pokemon. Another OU staple is Latios. A lot of people run the Specs, Life Orb, or the Choice Scarf sets. So I'm going to cover the Choice Scarf set because that is what I personally run myself. So obviously it only has Levitate, so we gotta run that. And we have the moves Aura Sphere, Draco Meteor, Thunderbolt, and Psyshock, which gives it decent coverage, and Psyshock actually allows it to hit Blissey pretty hard. Aura Sphere is obviously for those dark types, and Draco Meteor is just for devastating damage. Let's move on to the next Pokemon. Another super powerful, super fast Pokemon, we have Fairmosa. Fairmosas depend on their Beast Boost ability to get massive damage off and to pivot around the opponent's team, causing heavy damage and applying a lot of pressure. So the most common set is Life Orb, Beast Boost, and Close Combat U-Turn, Triple Axle or Ice Beam, and Poison Jab. You can swap out the move Poison Jab for any other move in my opinion. They usually run max attack for this set, a bit of special attack if you do run Ice Beam, and mostly all on speed, so they can outspeed common threats, but still, of course, lose the speed to Reggia, of course. So Fairmosa really depends on if you have a Scarfer or not, so that's why Scarf Latios exists, guys. Let's move on to the next Pokemon. Speaking of Scarfers, we have Choice Scarf Spectrier, a very, very defining Pokemon in OU. It's hindered by the fact that it doesn't have a good move pool, despite having a massive special attack stat of 145. So the standard Spectrier set is Shadow Ball, Mudshot, Hex, and Dark Pulse paired with a Choice Scarf and its signature ability Grimnay, with max special attack, a bit of special defense, and max speed investment. Spectrier is a very powerful revenge killer and reverse sweeper, as its ability allows it to get as many boosts as possible. So let's move on to the next Pokemon. Talking about newer entries, we have Galarian Zapdos, a very defining Pokemon in OU once again. Because of its Define ability, it allows it to consistently check Landorus Therian time and time again. People usually either use an Expert Belt or a Life Orb set on Galarian Zapdos, or maybe, if they're spicy enough, they would use either a Choice Band or a Choice Scarf, paired with the moves Close Combat or Thunderous Kick based on preference, Brave Bird, U-Turn, and Stomping Tantrum, having a fast physical attacker roll with 252 attack EVs, 4 special defense EVs or health EVs, and 252 speed EVs, along with a jolly nature. That allows it to easily outspeed Landorus Therian and get the revenge kill. Let's move on to the next Pokemon. Urshifu. The Isle of Armor legendary still proves its worth in OU, especially its single strike form. The rapid strike form is usually seen on rain teams, but the single strike Urshifu is usually seen on non-rain teams, obviously. So here I put the black glasses on for lulz and allows for a maximum spam of Wicked Blow plus Sucker Punch. Of course, its signature ability Unseen Fist is seen here with the moves Wicked Blow, Sucker Punch, Thunder Punch, and Close Combat, allowing it to rip big holes in the opponent's team and getting even a priority move in Sucker Punch, which is very good for taking out revenge killers such as Scarf Latios, Scarf Spectrier, and all that. Let's move on to the next Pokemon. Here's another new addition, Reggia. Reggia is known for its 200 base speed, which outspeeds even Deoxys speed, which is built for speed. So obviously it has the signature ability Transistor, which means its electric type moves hit very hard. Especially paired up with Tapu Koko and having rising voltage, it can absolutely spam its moves. So for this regular set, not pairing up with Tapu Koko, we have the Choice Specs as its item with Volt Switch, Thunder Cage, Electro Ball, and Rapid Spin. Rapid Spin plus Electro Ball here is a godsend. Another popular item on Reggia is the Magnet, which even gives it a further boost in electric type moves, but Choice Specs is here for maximum, electric type spam ability. Let's move on to the next Pokemon. Here we go back to another old legend, Excudra. Excudra has been a very big part of the OU meta in past generations, and even has been banned once. Excudra obviously is very powerful, both as a stealth rocker and a spinner. So today I'm going to be introducing the Choice Band set, as Sand Teams has never been that powerful before, with Tyranitar, Hippowdons, and Dracozolt unlocking Sand Rush as well. So with Choice Band, it can absolutely destroy other balanced teams or stall teams with its immense power, with Earthquake, Rock Slide, Iron Head, and Brick Break as the moveset. Let's move on to the stall Pokemon section now. Of course, what is stall without the stall queen herself, Blissey? Blissey is popular now in usage just because Chansey's, a Violite always gets knocked off, as knockoff has never been that prevalent before. So Blissey now carries leftovers or heavy-duty boots, as it always goes for the move Teleport to pivot around the opponent's team, with the moves Seismic Toss, Soft Boil, Toxic, and Teleport as its moveset, and of course having the ability Natural Cure to get rid of status conditions. So obviously this Blissey is used to pivot around the team, take hits for them, and then teleport into a very powerful offensive Pokemon to apply pressure on the opponent's team. Let's move on to the next Pokemon. Magirna is a jack of all trades, I have to say. It's pretty bulky, and with the Shuka Berry, it only takes 46% of health from a Garchomp's Earthquake. and it can easily revenge kill it with Fleur Cannon. Still, it's a very great defensive wall, and a very good attacker, although it is pretty slow itself. With the moves Ice Beam, Fleur Cannon, Flash Cannon, and Thunderbolt, or Volt Switch, it can do a lot of damage, and also stay on the field for very long, with some special defense, HP, and investment, and maybe even an Assault Vest. Let's move on to the next Pokemon, shall we? Here, we have one of the new stars of Crown Tundra's OU, Slowbro. As there are a lot of powerful physical attackers in the tier, the necessity of a physical wall arose, and here comes Slowbro. Slowbro has base 110 defense, which allows it to pivot around the opponent's team with Teleport, plus its reliable recovery in Slack Off and Regenerator. Its moves usually consist of Teleport, Slack Off, Scold, and usually for now, Future Sight. It usually carries around the item Leftovers or Heavy Duty Boots just because of pivoting. Let's move on to the next stall Pokemon, shall we? Once again, old legends don't fade away, and here we have Coffinite as the tier's most defining defensive bird. Coffinite usually carries Leftovers or Heavy Duty Boots, as usual, and maybe some spicier sets might include a Rocky Helmet. It usually has the ability Pressure or Mirror Armor, but unnerved sets are maybe seen for a while. Its usual moveset consists of Defog, Brave Bird, U-Turn, and Body Press, as shown. U-Turn is obviously used to pivot, and it has a very good role as a defogger, as it can usually tank a hit, even from Volcanion's Fire Blast, and still get off a defog off, removing any hazards from the user's team, and also the opponent's team, but we'll ignore that. So let's move on to the next Pokemon. So this is the last of the most threatening Pokemon in OU, and that is Swampert, a new star once again. Swampert is an odd story. It arose in usage just because the old Stealth Rock users are getting less and less reliable now, so Swampert arose in usage. It usually carries around the item Leftovers and has either Torrent or Damp as its abilities. And it usually carries around the moves Flip Turn, Stealth Rock, Toxic, and maybe Earthquake. This set gets walled hard by Volcanion if it doesn't have Earthquake though, so Swampert users have to be very aware of that. So after describing the general meta of the OU, of Crown Tundra's OU, right? Let's move on to my spice picks for the tier. Here, we start with the spice picks. First of all is a defensive Garchomp set. Using the item Rocky Helmet, combining with its ability Rough Skin, it can do a lot of residual damage, just like Ferrothorn. It has the moves Earthquake, Dragon Claw, Stealth Rock, and Toxic. I usually lead it against enemy Swamperts to get a Toxic off as they're so bulky, and then set a Stealth Rock up, and as they flip turn, they take a ton of damage, and I can still maintain offensive pressure with my max attack nature and my 2 stab moves. Let's move on to the next spice pick. This next pick is specialized to countering Landorus Therian hard, and that's Articuno Galar. Why Articuno Galar, you might ask? First of all, Articuno with 224 plus speed EVs can exactly outspeed Landorus Therian, which allows it to get the 32 defense EVs needed. Second of all, when a Intimidate acts on it, its competitive activates, which means it immediately gets +2 in special attack. I use a Life Orb in conjunction with Recover to get maximum offensive pressure, with U-Turn, Freezing Glare, Air Slash, and of course Recover. So this is a very effective Landorus Therian counter, and I do advise on all of you to actually use this set, just because it's a lot of fun, and if you match up against like not the Landorus Therian, you can just U-turn out of there. Let's move on to the next spice pick. Yeah, I know, you might be punting in the comments, you're using OU Pokemon as well. How is that becoming a spice pick? Well, look at its item. It's a Choice Scarf. I have ran into so many Zapdoses that all run either Life Orb, or Choice Band and get destroyed by my either defensive Garchomp or my Scarf Zapdos. Scarf Zapdos is honestly so good. It is one of the few Fairmosa counters in the entire tier. Just because it can outspeed a max speed one, which is not Scarf, and maybe even live a Ice Beam from it, and retaliate with Brave Bird, which obviously OHKOs it. So, with the Scarf, I use Brave Bird, Close Combat, Blaze Kick, and U-Turn instead of using Stomping Tantrum. You might be asking why? That's because Stomping Tantrum is a ground type move, right? And locking yourself into a ground move with a tier that has so many flyers is pretty bad. There are many Pokemon that are very, very weak to fire. For example, Scizor and Moltres, and maybe even Ferrothorn, that you can't get past with other moves. That's why I chose Blaze Kick instead of Stomping Tantrum there. Let's move on to the next fight, shall we? Of course, why would we leave out the last of the birds? Moltres Galarian form. Of course, Moltres Galar is a very, very bulky Pokemon specially. So, it can dish out a lot of damage, possibly, with the Nasty Plot and the Berserk boost. It doesn't get Roost, unfortunately, so the leftovers would have to do. But, the thing that it shines in is breaking either stall or offense. For example, there is a powerful special sweeper that is about to sweep your team. Moltres can actually live a Choice Specs Mind Blown from Blacephalon and be able to return fire with Fury Wrath, which is amazing with this set. 252 health EVs and 252 plus special defense EVs allows it for the best survivability in the special side. With the moves Taunt, it can shut down Stall, Fury Wrath and Hurricane for offense, and Nasty Plot for setting up, just to make Moltres even more scarier. Let's move on to the next Pokemon. This is a Pokemon I wouldn't thought I've used. That's Sarina. Sarina has very, very good bulk when you first look at it, actually. It has base 72 HP and base 98 in both defenses, allowing it to live a lot of hits from common attackers. I use it as a dual screener and a spinner at the same time. It has the item Light Clay, the ability Queenly Majesty, and the moves Power Whip, Rapid Spin, Light Screen, and Reflect. Another reason that I want to use Sarina is because of the outbursts of Swamperts, like they're being everywhere. I can spin away the rocks, their flip turns aren't going to be doing a lot, and I can probably OHKO them with Power Whip. Okay, let's move on to the next Pokemon. Most of you are going to be using newly introduced Pokemon, or Pokemon that have been introduced back into Sword and Shield, but I will be still using Scizor, an old legend. Scizor, you might ask, why is it good? It is because of Bullet Punch in conjunction with Technician, obviously, so that you can easily OHKO Fairmosa, which is very, very good in the tier. I'm going to be bringing max HP plus leftovers on this set, and having Technician, obviously, as the ability, with the moves Sword Stance, or you might switch it out for U-Turn, because I seldom use Sword Stance now in the higher ladders, Bullet Punch, Dual Wing Beat to hit cocky Volcaronas and fighters, and obviously Defog. I first wanted to use Scizor as a defogger, and the result was very, very good, as Scizor was able to live many, many hits, and allows it to remove every single hazard on the field. Let's move on to the next Spice pick, shall we? So, this Pokemon is a Pokemon that I've discovered in the Natural Dex UU tier, which is Choice Scarf Sheer Force Nidoking. This Pokemon is actually insanely good, as it has a ton of coverage moves. Having a ground type with Sheer Force is insanely good, as proven by Landorus Incarnate, which is now banned, unfortunately. Nidoking is very strong due to its ability to surprise and OHKO Landorus Therian if it's not Scarfed, right? So with the Choice Scarf set and Ice Beam, it can easily OHKO Cocky Dragons, and maybe even get the jump on Fairmosa with Flamethrower. So the moveset that I run is Earth Power, Ice Beam, Flamethrower, and Sludge Wave, which is very, very powerful, but you have to make some hard predicts when you're faced with like Flyers and Steel types, which are very, very common. Let's move on to the next Pokemon, shall we? obviously, I'm saving the best for last, and the best Pokemon that I've ever come across as a spice pick is 100% Volcanion. Volcanion is very strong as it fills both the roles of a fire type and a water type, and using the Assault Vest set, it can do so much, especially against rain teams. With the ability Water Absorb, it can absorb any Barraskewda's liquidation and easily revenge kill them off. With the moves Earth Power, Fire Blast, Steam Eruption, and Sludge Wave, it can easily do heavy damage. It can 2-hit KO Clefable, get a burn off against many Pokemon with both the moves Steam Eruption and Fire Blast, and with Assault Vest, Spectrier would have to 3-hit KO Volcanion, which allows Volcanion to easily destroy Spectrier. The EVs that I run are 248 in HP, 252 plus in special attack, and 8 in special defense, so that it can live a lot of hits and dish out a ton of damage. Okay, enough of the Pokemon set bickering. So if you want to ask me what are my opinions on this new OU, I'll be saying that it's probably gonna be in shambles. Just because there are so many powerful sets, but you need those Scarfers to really do the revenge killing. The power creep is just way too strong here, especially with Fairmosa or Spectrier and all that. All the Pokemon are getting faster and faster, and you need Scarfers to pick up the pace here. So I feel like this OU isn't the best, and I think as a runner of a balanced team, I feel like you have to use bulkier Pokemon. For example, Sarina to set up dual screens, Assault Vest Melmetal, which is very effective, I would say, and more of those. So, these are my opinions on the OU meta in the Clown Tundra. Yes, I actually said clown just because it's in shambles, you know, just a joke. So anyways, I actually made an infographic on the meta here. I'll be posting a link down in the description below and posting this infographic on my Discord server. So if you want to take a look at the infographic, you can either take a look at the image link posted below, or you might join my Discord server and look at it there. You can also get the chance to communicate with me so that your video ideas might actually become a video. So this is, today is over for the OU part of the Crown Tundra meta-analysis, guys. So I'm probably going to be posting a video like this next week, which will be probably covering Ubers. And then for next week, we'll be covering UU, if we do finish the Ubers part. So I'm sorry if I go on an unnoticed break. It's because I was still studying the meta more for a little bit, and maybe still busy making the infographic. So I'm sorry for you who anticipated another video last week, but here is a quality video to make up for it. So guys, see you next week, and goodbye.